Hello, everybody. This is the Oddball Show, and we are back yet again with more shenanigans, more thoughts, more poetry, more hip-hop, and this week, a little bit more pro wrestling. We touched on pro wrestling a little bit in one of our prior shows, and, we're expounding upon that and tying poetry into pro wrestling as well tonight. How we're going to do that? Hey, I'm curious to find out myself. With all that said, we do have the panel on tonight. The Oddballs, Jason Wright and Chad Parenteau are joining us as always. What's up, Jason? What's up, Chad? You guys feeling all right?
Doing good, Ivan.
Good. Happy to hear. And of course, my bandmate in JP Line Productions, Chris Everson, aka Professor or Dr. Prof or Professor Lime or Dr. Prof Esquire. Well, who you gonna be tonight, Chris?
Woo-ah!
Busta Rhymes, got it. Busta Prof, good shit.
You.
I am Scholar, the other representative from JP Line Productions on here tonight, and shout outs to our third bandmate Spaceman out there in the cyber world. I'm sure he's listening. So again, we're going to talk a little pro wrestling and poetry. Our special guest tonight is Alexandra Naughton from the Bay Area, poet, celebrity.
God, my name is Alexandra. I'm sorry.
Did I say Andrea?
You called me Andrea.
I'm sorry, Alexandra. I'm sorry.
He doesn't even know an Andrea.
That's our well, no, you're right. I don't know an Andrea. Yeah, good. And that is our first shenanigan tonight. Unfortunately, because we are live, we can't edit that out.
That's fine.
In any event, Alexandra Naughton from the Bay Area, poet celebrity. She's our special guest tonight. Thank you for joining us, and I apologize deeply. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Awesome. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Oddball extraordinaire and also the senior statesman in the panel tonight and every night, Chad Parenteau. Chad, take it away, buddy.
Oh, we're back to the fake applause. Don't make me play Ram Jam Black Betty. That's why I always think every time you play that gong. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone who's somehow still on, still listening. This is a live broadcast, or it won't be by the time I post this tomorrow morning. This is the Oddball Show, and tonight we are talking a lot about wrestling, and a lot of that was because I don't like being the odd person out if someone's talking about a topic that I don't know a lot about, in which case during episode 6 we were talking about the NFL, and I had to be the asshole in the room to bring up a crazy subject. In that case it was, is the NFL becoming like the WWE, and is Tom Brady doing a heel turn? I kept it going, but I was being a jerk. But one good thing that came of that was that, oh, what's going on here? Oh, and now I'm hearing myself schizophrenic.
You okay?
There we go. This is what happens when you have a YouTube channel that finally catches up. Anyway, sorry for the double call back there. We are anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So that got us to talking a lot about wrestling, a lot about Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, and it reminded me of two things back to back. One was the fact that there's actually a new anthology for poets. We talk about poetry from time to time. This Oddball Show is one of the only shows I can think of that actually mixes mainstream topics with literature, so it seems like the perfect place to remind people, especially if there are any poet friends out there listening, that there's a new anthology that's calling for submissions, and the due date's actually this Sunday, May 31st. It's called Working Stiff, and it's an anthology of professional wrestling. The flavor text for the invite on Facebook reads as such. Oh, you didn't know? Well, your ass better call somebody. That's right. Working Stiff, an anthology of professional wrestling-themed literature and art, is now open for submissions. That's right, folks. Working Stiff, a brand spanking new anthology of professional wrestling-themed literature and art, is looking for submissions of poetry, short fiction, and creative nonfiction, one-act plays, and monologues, as well as black and white comics, drawings, and photographs. Submissions are open now until May 31st, 2015. And they encourage you to send to workingstiffpress@gmail.com. It's kind of exciting, and it reminded me of a conversation that I had with Alexandra Naughton sometime around last year or last summer during the Mr. Hip reading in Jamaica Plain, Mass, where, in the words of Alexandra, who I'll actually let talk in a second, kind of called the idea of there being a wrestling poetry anthology. A lot of pop cultural things have been picked up lately. Wright Bloody Press did a superhero anthology recently called Multiverse, which I was actually a part of, and there's been other comic book anthologies out there, but this one really took off, and it seemed to be only a matter of time before other things are being taken up. Freeze Ray Press is doing one on pop musicians, and now this one came up. So, Alexandra, how would you like to relate your Nostradamus-like abilities to predict a wrestling anthology?
I mean, I'm not I'm not going to take credit for that entirely, but we were talking about how I was planning a wrestling-themed poetry reading for the 2014 Beast Crawl in Oakland, and Beast Crawl, for everyone out there, is this it's a day-long poetry event with like 30 different readings, and they're all situated within like a 20-block radius. So you go to like one reading and then you go to another reading, and it's like a fun thing to do. There's so many readings, and I wanted to do something different. I had never participated in Beast Crawl before, and I thought I'm just gonna pick a theme. And like I had written that book about Billy Corgan, or like using him as my stand-in or whatever. Like I Will Always Be Your Whore, love songs for Billy Corgan. And
great book.
Thank you very much. And because, I just got heavily invested in all things Billy Corgan, and while that book was being written and while I was promoting it, he started his own wrestling team, and I just thought it was really kind of amusing and fascinating. He'd always been into wrestling because his younger brother, who's autistic, was really into pro wrestling, and like that was one way that they could connect. So he like got into pro wrestling for his brother. And I don't know, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but like I just started thinking about wrestling a lot, and I don't know, like sometime last year somebody compared me to Andy Kaufman, and I really enjoyed that comparison, and I kind of wanted to milk it. So I was just doing all this research on Andy Kaufman too, and like just getting really into his wrestling videos and his stunts on the David Letterman show with
Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler.
Alexandra, if I can interject for a second,
Sure.
Can you speak a little bit on who Billy Corgan is?
Oh, okay, Billy
For our
Corgan
listeners
is
out there?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a 90s rock god.
Right.
He's kind of an asshole.
Kind of a dick.
He's totally a dick.
All right.
Kind of an asshole and totally a dick.
Yeah. But he's just one of those pop culture icons, and yeah, like I think it's
And
awesome.
he got into wrestling.
What's that?
And he got into wrestling.
He got into wrestling, yeah.
So
he started
because you were into him, you kind of started researching wrestling as well, or were you into wrestling before you became a fan of Billy Corgan?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so Billy Corgan was the impetus for your pseudo. Yeah, is it a pseudo fandom or is it an actual fandom for pro wrestling?
Okay. No, I mean,
Or is it growing? Did it start as a pseudo?
it's a fascination of mine.
Gotcha.
And I like wrestling, like actual wrestling.
Right,
I think
Olympic
it's
style
fun.
wrestling. Yeah.
It's fun to do. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I like challenging people to wrestle because I think it's funny.
Gotcha.
I've always kind of liked that.
Hey, I'm all for women who wrestle. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jello.
So actually, let's jump back to the Andy Kaufman thing for a second, because that seems like
Thank
you approach wrestling the same way that he did. That he was fascinated by it. He wasn't like a wrestling fan. He watched it one day and was like, "Wow, this is a crazy thing that we do." You know, that like
Yeah.
these guys in tights are like dancing around each other, and it's like a form of theater, and it's a form of like I don't know, like base kind of theater, like bad guys and good guys, and like I don't know. It's interesting that it's still a tradition that we carry on, and that seems like that was Andy Kaufman's take, and why he got so into it, and why he wanted to be a part of it, because it was like interesting and strange to him. And
it's just another type of performance, you know. And he's a comedian, but I really think he's more performance artist than anything else, or he was. You know, like, he was just always just trying to find the next way to like make people uncomfortable, but not in a way that's like degrading or super degrading. I don't know.
Well, I mean, not even degrading, but more like he wanted to actually provide some kind of real performance, something that made you invest either emotion or thought, or like really get into it.
Yeah.
And by Nate, he loved song and dance. Like that was his thing. He loved like performance. Before he was a comedian, he liked that stuff. So I mean, it comes from somewhere real natural for him, and he's really interested in what makes that relationship between a performer and an audience, and that uncomfortability it makes you invested. When he's doing Mighty Mouse on Saturday Night Live, it's because you don't understand what he's doing. You don't get it, but you want to know what he's doing. So,
yeah.
I mean, the same kind of thing with his wrestling, that you see this comedian. By that point, I'm pretty sure he's a celebrity. He's famous by the time he does the pro wrestling thing with Jerry Lawler. But you see him do it, and he gets on Letterman and he acts like it's a real fight and whatnot, and because because that to him is exciting, because that's a real response from an audience.
Yeah.
So how much research have you been doing with Andy Kaufman? Have you read the book Lost in the Funhouse?
No. Is it good?
That's a fantastic one. I was on a little bit of a Kaufman kick myself, and for those who don't know who Andy Kaufman is, for the younger listeners out there, he was Latka from Taxi, and even that was an incorporation of his like foreign man shtick, which he did way before the Taxi came into play.
How good they are, how strong they are. You don't know when you get in
This is
there.
Andy Kaufman.
I've never seen them before in my life, and they just come up there, and I let the audience choose who I'm going to wrestle. I've never met a woman in the ring in 3.5 years that I've been doing this who was able to pin my shoulders to the ground, and it's embarrassing, but I'll keep doing it because they want to try, and as long as there's women out there that want to try and humiliate themselves like that. Now, I'm not saying women are mentally inferior to men, because when it comes to things like cooking and cleaning, washing the clothes, scrubbing the carrots, raising the babies, mopping the floors, I have it all over men. I believe that. But when it comes to the wrestling, when it comes to them getting in the wrestling ring, there's nothing up there. They're all opening up for the eyebrows. They're all, we teen for brains. You know what I mean? I will pay $1,000. I'll take on anybody who wants to come in that ring and volunteer. I don't think you can do it. You know why? Because I'm going to send you back to the kitchen where you belong. I'm going to have you scrubbing the potatoes and washing the carrots. Because that's where you belong. All of it.
So, to give a little context in the history of Andy Kaufman, this is the thing that kind of broke his career in a lot of ways, because people were separating themselves from Kaufman because he declared himself the intergender champion of wrestling, where he would literally take his act on the road and wrestle women everywhere. And allegedly he only lost, I think, twice, and one was to someone who I think was dying of cancer. I think they explain that in the book Lost in the Funhouse, which, if you've never heard of it, is a great book to have, because it really plays to one of the traits that Chris brought up, is that first and foremost he was a performance artist. When he went to school, he was actually in Boston, and he was almost like a clone or like an offshoot of like what you'd see in like some of the crazier Stone Soup performers in our day in Stone Soup Poetry in Cambridge. He actually authored a book called God. I believe one of the chapters, according to Lost in the Funhouse, was one where he said the word shit a few hundred times, and that's all it was in the book. That's all the chapter was.
Wow.
So he had that beat poet performer aspect. A lot of really interesting information. Also, Best Friend Tells All is a biography of Kaufman by Bob Zmuda. Those are really nice little cornerstones. Although to get back to Ivan, I never thought Lawler was really pissed at Kaufman.
No, they were
I always thought that was a work.
I'm glad you called me Ivan. You usually call me JP.
Ah,
No, no, I've seen interviews with Lawler where it was. I mean, it's obviously a work. It's pro wrestling. It's all a work. But
Right.
sometimes it just gets a little too personal. Like it's well known that Mr. T and Roddy Piper, that whole
Did not like each
WrestleMania,
other.
they did not like each other at all. So there's no doubt in my mind that they were performing in the ring, but a few of the shots were a little bit extra, and that's kind of how Lawler explains it. It's like he just really grew not to like the guy because it's pro wrestling. It's it is another form of performance art to some to a great extent. A lot of people don't realize that or just choose not to accept it. But there's a certain there's a certain etiquette to it. It's like, do your job. If you're supposed to lose. If you're gonna win. Just go out there and do your job. And I think with Kaufman, like, he took it too much like a big joke, and eventually it just got under Lawler's skin, and he was just like, I put a little extra on it. You know what I mean? Like when I wasn't he wearing a neck brace for a while or something like that was all work.
After Lawler put him in a pile driver.
Yeah, exactly.
when he went on Letterman, right? He had the neck brace on, right?
Yes.
He was still wearing it.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Identification, get the hose
And he comes out with the neck brace on.
That wasn't the best was when he said he would sue him.
Yes, he sued his children, his children's children. It's amazing.
Children's children, and your children just stink. You're nothing, Lawler.
Oh my God.
He was fantastic. He was so funny.
Gone too soon.
Not too many people knew about him, I think, until Man on the Moon, when Jim Carrey played him in that bio of his.
It's one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies.
I love that movie.
It is
I enjoy
awesome.
that as well. That's one of the few I actually have a copy of. Going back to you, Alexandra, what's the most interesting fact about Kaufman that you've dug up during your research?
I mean, I wasn't really digging up facts. I was just trying to immerse myself in who he is because I just think he's completely fascinating, and like that's the kind of performance that I want to do. I wasn't like doing like a biography type thing, but like just watching as many videos and like performances of him that I could, just to like see how his mind works, because like,
what's the one that really opened up to you, like, I get this now, or I want to get more?
I mean, there's an interview where he's like sitting at this really tall table, and he brings out his ex-girlfriend, and like he interviews her.
I've seen this.
Asking like all these really personal questions, not like super personal, but just like just trying to like dig up things from her past or whatever. And then it goes to a commercial break, and then she's kind of like just yelling at him like, "Why are you asking me about that guy that I dated? Like why are you talking about that? Like, I don't know. I'm not really explaining this well, but like."
Well, I think what you're getting at. I think what you're. I think what you're.
It seems real, but it's not. It's not real at all. But he just plays this like villain all the time, and I feel like I've kind of been cast into that role.
Why do you think that is? Why is that? Do you think?
Because I have an attitude and people don't understand me.
Wait, what did you say?
Go on.
Okay.
I'm gonna hang myself in the bathroom after that joke. But
As an artist, by the way, is Eminem a little bit. Even though Eminem is a little more invested in the anger of it, he projects the and always has the villain image because it's like, I don't know. As a creator, as an artist, like there's a lot to a villain. It's kind of harder to be a hero. It's a lot more fun to be a villain. There's a lot,
It's
there's a
definitely
lot
more
to
fun
the
to be bad.
darkness.
Being the bad guy is like the best, and
Yeah.
like it's the character that everyone likes the most in in like movies or whatever. Like I'm always rooting for the villain.
who's your favorite villain?
Probably Paris Geller of Gilmore Girls.
Mm.
Yeah,
I like how everyone in this podcast just went.
We're informed. Anyway,
That show's all good.
I'm so sorry. I just don't know the Gilmore Girls.
My wife watched
Mine
them
out.
all the time. She watched them in cessation. I don't know why she did it. She was torturing me. That is they talk so fast on that show, and it is the worst acting ever. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, whatever.
All right,
I'm
well,
gonna rail on her like favorite show. Invite her on our show and then say, "Hey, what you like sucks."
I'm not really surprised. It's chill.
this is my favorite villain. About to play in a minute.
oh god.
Ready for this? This is my,
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Oh god, the Cobra Kai guy from Karate Kid.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Oh, is that the Cobra dude? The
Yes.
oh, that's funny.
That's
That's
a
hilarious.
sensei.
Hashtag 80s.
sorry.
At least Gilmore Girls is more up to date, Jason. Good God, and I'm the elder telling you all this.
No, I'm sorry. I get behind the Karate Kid. I appreciate that. Thank you very
I've
much.
never seen The Karate Kid, and I only mentioned Gilmore Girls because I'm binge watching it for the second time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Never seen
currently
the Karate Kid?
currently on
No? Never? Not once?
What?
Never saw the Karate Kid.
No,
You never seen Danny LaRusso at his best.
no. Daniel Day-Lewis.
No. How would the Karate Kid be if he had one left foot?
Every time somebody says that they've never seen the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio gets a little bit fatter.
The generation gap just scored like a 10 on the Richter scale just now. Daniel LaRusso and Daniel Day-Lewis. I love it. That was awesome.
I was afraid of the Ninja Turtles too. Like I didn't watch a lot of that stuff growing up.
Oh,
You
man.
voted for
I thought we
you
were
rooted for
friends.
you rooted for Shredder?
Yeah, I mean Shredder's cool, right?
True. And he's got a talking brain.
He's like talking can opener. That guy sucked. That brain guy sucked too.
Krang?
Krang?
He's awesome.
Prang.
It doesn't make any sense, but he's awesome. You know who he's actually kind of like too is
Pinky in the brain.
in Captain America, Zola, the scientist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the guy with
like
the
a-
brain in his stomach. Yes.
Hey,
There's some nerdisms for you.
Jed, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you just do me a Pinky in the brain impression real quick?
Oh, God, I'll surprise you with it later. I promise. But I want
right.
the same thing we do every night. Try to fuck up a podcast. Let me bring it back to something that the prof said about Eminem. And I kind of disagree with you in that Eminem plays the villain thing. I mean, he hints at it a lot of times, but I don't know. The one thing I never liked about Eminem, as much as he's a great he is a good wordsmith. He is a great rapper, but I think he plays too much of like the victim thing. He kind of like goes for the sympathy in the end. So
So he certainly does that too. I mean, he certainly plays his victim card, and he's done it way too long into his career. Like, you know.
Yeah,
He's
stop
rich and
talking about your
famous.
mom, dude. No
Yeah,
one.
you've got to have worked through all that stuff by now. You're rich and famous and awesome.
One of the best
Leave him
things
alone.
about Eminem is the fact that he did let everybody in to his world, which were Hammer's talking about too legit to quit. That ain't letting them in. I don't know what Hammer's doing. I don't know why he
Wow.
lost all that money on that hotel. But I do know.
Can't touch this was a much more and let it come into my world kind of song. Oh my.
My brain exploded.
My point is that if Eminem was more like Andy Kaufman, he would never even give you a chance to know the real him. There would be no songs about Haley. They would probably be like, his songs about Kim would probably be like 45 minutes and having so much screaming that the album would never sell.
I think Eminem.
He was anti-audience. He was anti-understanding.
No, he's totally not anti-audience, but no. Yeah, you get him all wrong. I mean, I think that he overdoes the victim card for too long, but for so much of his early career, it was fascinating. When Kim came out for the first time on Marshall Mathers, that was fascinating. The fact that somebody would
That's
do
my
that.
favorite track on that album.
Dude, I remember when it came out. It was my girlfriend's favorite track. You know, she was the one that put me on to sit down and listen to the Marshall Mathers album, and it was because of that track. And it's like it's a horror movie. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and it's something that hadn't been done really. And he was using his real wife. That's insane. There's something like fucked up about that.
It's really fucked up, but like just that
But it's
narrative
awesome
is so interesting, and the fact that it's like the prequel to 97 Clyde, like that's hella chill.
That's awesome. That's some real deep stuff, and that's what when I talk about him projecting that villain image, he creates that. You know, he's not nearly as angry, as violent, and as well, maybe as angry, but not nearly as violent and murderous, and you know all these things that he projects onto first the Slim Shady, you know, character, and then onto himself and whatever else, the rest of his career. That's an image. He creates that, and then he goes on and takes it, I think, a little more literally. That like every time you see him in an interview, he's always looking at you like he wants to kill everybody around him. He takes that like it has to be his all the time image, and maybe he does. Maybe he feels that way, but that's an image that he crafted. And
Chris, let me jump in for a second.
So
We're talking about wrestling, right? And Eminem had a big beef with ICP, who started a wrestling thing in the WWE. And the best thing about that was the battle or the rivalry that Eminem had. Eminem's been a battle rapper for a long time, but then ICP goes on, and he becomes wrestlers, and that's kind of like that's just something totally different. But the whole idea of Eminem, going out after wrestlers is very Kaufman-esque, because Kaufman went after Lawler, Eminem went after the Insane Clown Posse, and boom, my brain just exploded. Booyah.
I didn't know they actually
Wait, so is
wrestled.
Eminem the new Andy Kaufman? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's where the whole thing, that's where it came from when I was talking about Eminem, is that it's very similar. He's fascinated by the villain image for a good reason, like we were all just talking about. It's awesome, like as an artist, there's a lot to invest in. But
who do you think Eminem's favorite wrestler was?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I bet you it was the Junkyard Dog.
No, I bet he was into Hulk Hogan.
I'm fucking with you.
I think you like some tactical wrestler, because he's like a really good tactical MC. I think and who's from Detroit that he would like?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Coco Beware. I don't know.
That's the thing about wrestling. Like where they say they're from in the intro isn't actually where they're from. Often.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown, but even some of the ones that actually like Hollywood, California, the dude could be from Minnesota.
I'm gonna guess it's Bret the Hitman Hart, because Canada's pretty close to Detroit.
Yeah. Tactical
I'm gonna
wrestling.
say
Canada's
Macho Man.
close to
That's
Detroit.
just my guess for no
It's
reason.
closer to Detroit than Venice Beach, California is.
I'm gonna guess Roddy Piper.
Oh, that's a good one.
He had the same kind of attitude.
I feel like those three guys would have an awesome night out, like Piper, Mathers, and Kaufman. Like seriously.
That's awesome.
I would love to film that.
I think it would end with Mathers and Piper kicking Kaufman to the curb by the end of the night.
Yeah,
Kicking
or
his
just
ass.
feeding him to Lawler.
No problem with sue everybody.
Let's bring this back to Alexandra and her quest to be the next Andy Kaufman of poetry. Let's ask you this, Alexandra. Who, and you can say anyone, whoever it is, if it's someone in the Bay Area, or if it's someone really famous. I mean, who is your Jerry Lawler? I would guess from the book it would be Billy Corgan, but I'm not sure if that's really the answer.
I mean, what are you asking me? Like, who's my nemesis, or like who's my partner that's in this game with me, who like knows what I'm doing and like is willing to play along? Like, what are you asking?
That's probably Jerry Lawler was kind of both. So in a way, I think I'm asking both.
Probably Jesse Prado.
And who is that for listeners?
Okay, so Jesse Prado is my best friend, also a poet. We went on tour together last year. He read at that thing with Donald as well in Boston.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
He's super funny, and he, I think, is more of a stand-up comedian than he is a poet. Like, just his delivery is like pure stand-up. It's super funny. But yeah, like we have not really a rivalry. I mean, if anything, it's like a sibling rivalry where we just like want to like push each other to be better. But we're doing a roast next month for the release of one of my books that came out this year, and he's gonna be roasting me.
What's the book called for those who want to know?
It's called "You Could Never Objectify Me More Than I've Already Objectified Myself."
Wasn't that a YouTube video that you shared on Facebook?
Yeah, I made a video to promote it.
We're going to link that below the YouTube video.
Link
Well, I should know. Can you shout out your YouTube channel or just whatever contact info real quick?
Just look up my name. If you Google me, like a bunch of stuff comes up.
Okay.
That sounds kind of. I don't know. It's just easier.
Just look for me at Google.
Let's just elaborate. A lot of things come up with your name with Google Safe Search on. Good stuff comes up. If you can only find stuff with me if the Safe Search is off. But anyway.
Oh my God.
I don't want to.
I'm kidding. I tried to make that sound a little better, and I think it sounded worser. And also,
That search is not my business.
It's because you were around pre-internet, dude. That's the problem. There's just not a lot of data. You know what I mean?
And I was web traffic.
Very true.
I just continue.
So I wanted to know, you're a wrestling poet, or you like wrestling and Billy Corgan? Let's hear some of your poetry. What you got? Do you have anything that you can read for us?
I would love to hear one of the Billy Corgan pieces.
Let's hear a Billy Corgan piece.
Okay,
And,
let me get
for
my
listeners who don't know, Billy Corgan is the guy from Smashing Pumpkins, went to Zwan. Got a couple
Oh man, Zwan.
And the other thing, to bring it around to...
Did he write for TNA, Chad?
He is writing for TNA right now.
He's writing for TNA, right. TNA is Impact Wrestling. It's, I suppose you can say it's WWE's competition. Vince has no competition. Vince McMahon, WWE owner,
it's basically what happened after WCW fell apart.
Right. But they're the only other one on TV right now, TNA, or at least on a pseudo important cable network. Although Ring of Honor is coming to that same network, they're going to run Ring of Honor and TNA back to back.
What does TNA stand for? I mean, does it stand what I think?
Total nonstop action, but of course they had the double entendre or whatever implied. But yeah, total nonstop action wrestling.
Totally nonstop action. And Billy Corgan's like, I want to get involved with total nonstop action wrestling.
And apparently the first shoot, the first story spin, if you can believe it, I was reminded of this because this past Monday I think I saw a Yahoo story where Billy Corgan was dispersing the rumors that TNA was going to be taken off the air.
Yeah. Is that true or not? I still haven't gotten to the bottom.
Corgan claims that it's a work.
It's a work.
Yeah, that's what he claims. It's part of the recent script. That's what he's claiming.
Oh, that's just further proof that Vince has no competition. If your work is we're about to go off the air, you're in trouble.
Well, that's been the work of every wrestling show person on the planet that TNA is going down. But
yeah, no shit, right? So what about this Billy Corgan poem?
Let's hear some Billy Corgan poems.
There are a lot of them, and she did a really good job. And just to save her some work, I'll just say that they are actually, Alexandra, if I forget it, because I don't have the book in front of me. They were titled after Smashing Pumpkins songs, correct?
Yeah.
Today, Chad, disarm it.
I made a playlist, and some of them are Smashing Pumpkins songs. They're all songs written by Billy Corgan. He wrote some songs for the band Hole.
That's right. Yes.
He wrote for some
Courtney Loves Hole?
He wrote
he wrote songs on Celebrity Skin. He wrote not half that album, but he wrote 40% of that album.
Oh, look me over. That one.
Yeah, that's why that's such a rockin' hit. He wrote Malibu.
It's this one.
I like Malibu.
I love Malibu.
Malibu's a great song.
I do like it.
But you listen to it and you're like, this is a fucking Smashing Pumpkins song. Just the way that the chords progress and the harmonies, it's Smashing Pumpkins through and through.
I'd agree with that, definitely. And I'm getting chastised on the chat by Ivan. I'm sorry if I called you Alexandria instead of Alexandra. I think I'm going to call you, introducing you, Andre the Naughton, if you ever come to Stone Soup. Or Alexandra the Giant. You know, we'll make a wrestling name.
That's cute. I like that.
It's ironic too, because you're tiny. You're like skinny and short.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I'm just saying.
What's your favorite Smashing Pumpkins
Far
song?
from a giant.
You have a favorite Smashing Pumpkins song?
My favorite Smashing Pumpkins song?
Yeah, give it to me.
On what album?
Price is Scary. No.
No, that album sucks.
Okay, on it. That's a great song. How about Siamese Dream?
Siamese Dream, probably Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise? Okay.
I've got to add that to the
Space
playlist.
What?
Like Space Boy?
Space Boy's a good song. That's about his brother.
Oh, which would tie it into why he would start. Is that really about his brother?
Yeah, it's about his brother.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool because like how it kind of turns into what we were talking about how he connected with his autistic brother through wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote this song about him.
Yeah.
I love
Is
it.
So what's the poem you're going to read for us right now?
Okay, I'm gonna read a poem called Soma.
Let's play this in the background.
You're gonna play music in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work with the mics,
No.
but
Might work.
I wanna
Turn it up a little bit.
Turn it up a little
You
bit.
guys ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna read a poem. Maybe we should just listen to the song for a minute.
Go ahead.
I can't read it with music in the background.
Bring it down. That's Space Boy, guys.
I like that.
Thanks,
I like
boy.
the sound of that. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, hold on, I screwed something up.
All right.
Okay,
You have the floor.
I'm gonna read a poem. I want to smother each other in everything we see so much that it feels like nothing. I want to build walls around us together so that it's just us in this small sheetrock space sheltering each other. And we're intertwined, and we can feel every breath and every whisper. So every movement makes me shake. And we can just look at each other and the drywall. I want to wrap ourselves in one another like we're one person, and not even dusty daylight will come between us. So we're sticking and stinking, and we're parading around, so people will be like, what the fuck was that? I want to envelop each other like 47 guitar tracks layered one on top of one, 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 on top of one. So we're just crumpled paper bags and comic books stacked on the floor.
I have to say, Alexandra, that piece, I'm just going to call it, is probably the most Kaufman-esque in the book.
I think we need a drum roll or a trumpet or something for
Hold
that.
on, I need something for that.
I enjoy the silence myself,
That
but
was
go
great.
ahead.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was great. Let me ask you this, Alexandra. You prefaced in the beginning of the podcast when you were explaining who Billy Corgan was. You didn't describe him as a poet, and that's even on this wiki. But
he's not a fucking poet. He's a really good songwriter. He's not a poet.
It cracked me up when I saw his wiki describe him as a poet. I'm like, one of his friends edited that, and you don't get that normally. But
he released a book of poetry, but it's not good.
wow.
It's really, really bad.
So it's
Yeah,
like musicians should be musicians and poets should be poets.
I don't know if that's true exactly, but
At least in the case of Corgan is what Alexandra's saying.
Well, see, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to preface before you had jumped in your poem. I was going to ask like your fascination with Corgan, where it comes from, but I think it's a lot better that I didn't.
But one of the things that you did describe him as a dick, and I was wondering where you got that impression from.
Just his public persona. I mean, in a way, he is Kaufman-esque as well. Like, he just plays this villain and, like, doesn't give a shit. Like, he even went on fucking InfoWars. Like, he's out there, you know? Like, I can't tell if it's, like, just this put on.
Wait, he's on InfoWars?
He's on fucking InfoWars.
With
the Illuminati.
With Alex Jones?
With Alex Jones. It's kind of amazing.
That's crazy.
It's kind of amazing.
Like, is he hardcore, or is he just kind of there to get his face out there?
I mean, probably a bit of both.
Is he 9/11 as an inside jobber, or?
I mean, what he actually talks about, he talks about the Illuminati, but he does it, I mean, it's, the way he talks about it, it makes sense, and it actually is true. Like, you know, talking about corporations or whatever, it's...
Well, that's what I mean. Is he reasonable about it? Because Alex Jones just goes like, I think there's truth in every extreme, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I don't discredit Alex Jones completely, but sometimes he goes way left, and it's just like, dude, come on, like you're hurting the cause at this point.
Yeah.
Is he riding with Alex Jones like that, or is he just kind of like,
I mean, kind of, but he's definitely the more reasonable one on that show, like on that episode.
So.
You know, like,
I think Satan would be more reasonable than Alex Jones, but continue.
Yeah. I mean, I think Billy Corgan is kind of a conspiracy nut, but if you
his poetry, his poetry sucks.
His poetry sucks. He's kind of a conspiracy nut, but I feel like he does understand. Like, if you take out a lot of just the
Alexandra, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who was worse, poetry, Jewel or Billy Corgan? Jewel had, I mean, she's terrible.
That's a fantastic question.
Is this a good question?
Yeah,
I think that's
is.
great.
I remember
that
Julie's
awesome.
poetry book. That was
Jewel
like
had a poetry book, and then Billy
every
Corgan.
girl wanted that book.
I never actually read Jewel's poetry book, but in one of her early music videos, what the fuck?
Who will save your soul?
No, not Who Will Save Your Soul. There's like a scene where there's a girl, like, or maybe it's a guy. It's just like a body, and it's writhing, and there's like words written on the person's stomach, and it says like, "You make me feel like home." Like, that was tight. Like, that was like some cool visual poetry.
That is pretty cool. Now Billy Corgan started up. Why do you think Billy Corgan was unhappy with the Smashing Pumpkins? Went on to Zwan, went on to writing a poetry book, and now is on TNA and is part of the Illuminati or whatever.
The anti-Illuminati, let's be fair.
Okay, fine, the anti-Illuminati. What is going through Billy Corgan's head right now? Not right now, he's probably sleeping or something, but what's going on with this guy?
Who really knows? He dated Jessica Simpson and Tila Tequila. Like, he's an interesting guy.
He's getting his Kanye on, dude. Leave the man alone.
I don't know what's going on in his
Doing
head.
what the fuck he wants because he can.
He owns a tea shop. Like, he's just, he's got a lot of money. Like, he's just enjoying his life. He's like a kid that never grew up.
Hmm.
Billy Corgan?
Yeah.
So Billy Corgan's now
He's like almost 50.
Eminem, Andy Kaufman, and Kanye?
There's a tag. There's a Texas Tornado tag team.
I want to meet this. Yeah, seriously. I want to meet this Billy Corgan guy. I'm sure he'd make a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, I want to meet him too.
Would you ever send your book to him? Have you?
I've tried to, or like my publisher tried to, but I don't know if it ever got to him. And when I was doing my tour last year, I wanted to go to Chicago and do a show at his tea house because they have, musicians perform. They have poetry readings there. And I suggested the idea, and they were like, "We don't think this is right for our venue. Sorry."
Wow. So awesome.
Alexandra,
Yeah.
really quickly, where can we find your book? I know we asked you earlier, and I know you said Google me. So if you're gonna say that again, Alexandra Naughton, Naughton,
Yes.
and no funky spellings on Alexandra, just traditional.
No, it's just regular. But you can find my book. You can find my book on punkhostagepress.com.
Gotcha.
And that's where my new book from Punk Hostages as well.
Punk Hostage your own imprint, Alexandra?
What's that?
Is Punk Hostage your own imprint?
It's not. I've been editing for them recently. I helped edit Die Dragon Eddie's book as well as Russell Jaffe. They both had books released this year through Punk Hostage. But no, it's not my press. It's Iris Berry and A. Razor, who are poets based out of Los Angeles, but Razor stays up in the Bay sometimes too. And they're like ex-punk rockers. Like, they were in punk bands in the 80s. Like, they're just interesting people. Like, they have a lot of stories to tell.
What bands were they in?
I don't know, bands you probably never heard of. Just like, I've never heard of. They weren't like in like.
So JP Lime was there.
Were they in Styx?
They were not
that was
in
funny.
Styx.
Oh, I can't.
They were not in the Sex Pistols.
Unbelievable.
Were they in Green Day? I'm kidding.
Yeah, they were in Green Day.
Yeah.
Do you don't really know the names of the bands? Because I just like checking out new music all the time. So
No, she's lying to you, my friend.
I just made that up.
Music. I'm always into listening to the old new music all the time.
I can text Razor right now and be like, "Can you tell me what bands you were in the '80s?" I can find out.
Do it right now. Do it right now. It's only what, 8 o'clock your time?
Yeah, it's 8:30. He's
Put these
told
people
me,
to
like,
work.
he was in like bands that would last for like a week. Like they would be in a band and like get good and then quit the band and like start a new band. Hold on. What band?
Were you ever in a band?
Yeah, I was in high school, but we never did any shows. We just practiced, and mostly we just hung out with each other.
What did you play?
I was the singer.
I guess, but I wanted to
What were
give
your
you.
songs like? What were your songs like?
Can you sing? Like now?
Do you want me
Or
to
maybe
sing?
say you can take a sip of water first, whatever you need to prep. Let us know.
What should I sing?
I mean, you've done hooks and bridges. I'm assuming in the past. Like, just do something you've done. Do something you laid down.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You could sing a chorus of "On Top of Ones, On Top of Ones." On top of ones.
That's my throwing money song.
I think you should sing the Mighty Mouse theme.
I don't know the Mighty Mouse theme.
Here I come to the dance.
Yes.
You know,
they-
I really
Andy
love
Kaufman's
singing,
favorite
and like
songs.
I will sing if a song comes on that I really like, but it's hard when people ask you to sing like on the spot.
Prof.
I like to think about. I like to.
Prof,
you
sing
know-
a hook.
Oh, jeez.
Doing what we do, it's me
Hey.
and my crew, we liming on,
Woohoo!
liming on.
On and on and on.
Keeping it steady, 'cause life ain't so heavy, liming on. We liming on.
Everybody
And
feel
on
good.
and on.
Good. See, he did it. It was terrible. I mean, I've heard it a million
appreciate
times
that.
better.
Not
Yeah, I
that
mean, dude,
bad.
you're drinking beer, you're podcasting. Come on now, like, yeah. But you did it.
Here we go.
It was terrible to me. I'm sure it was better than 75% of what most people could do. But you know what I mean?
I mean, do you want me to sing to a song right now? I can like play a song real quick.
Please do.
Yes.
Please do.
Let's do that.
Yes. Let's
I
hear
would
it.
love to. Yeah, please do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sing a Bright Eyes song. Ready?
I love
Go
Bright
for
Eyes.
it.
What
Go
song?
for
What
it.
song?
Yeah,
They're
just-
one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yo, I
Good.
love Bright Eyes.
Do it. You do it. Do it, girl. What we got?
I just texted Razor and he texted me back, oh boy.
Oh, let me check them out. Thank you. I
Wait,
appreciate
is that actually a band?
I'm going to find them on Spotify, see if they are. Yeah. Yeah, they're a band, actually. Yeah.
I'm not singing this. Okay. I changed my mind. Sorry. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna sing this Bright Eyes song.
All right, here. Can we? Let's. I have a better suggestion. I think we should hear like one more of your Billy Corgan poems because those are pretty awesome, and then we should jump back into talking a little bit about WWE.
Okay,
That
cool.
sounds good.
Yeah, I really didn't want to sing that Bright Eyes song. Just
No, it's okay. No, we know that you really did. I feel bad shutting you down, but I that's gonna have to go at another time. I think.
I just want to say that she had the best song.
Billy Corgan.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah, let's go.
it's a deep artistic investment that I really I think we should hear more of.
That's what we're casting about tonight.
Yeah, we're talking about it. Yeah.
I'm still a little sad you didn't sing, but you're right. Yeah.
Well, what song were you going to sing?
No. Let's go with Corgan. Let's go with.
All right.
We're not live, are we?
I should do
I don't think we're live anymore.
We're live, Jason. I'm fucking.
Oh.
It's a work. It's a wrestling work. Jesus.
Thank you. We're also getting canceled.
You're fired.
Yes. Wish I could.
This show has been so entertaining that we've decided to cancel ourselves. No.
We're like,
I wish we made money and I could hire every single one of you just to say you're fired.
Wait, Chad, you didn't get your royalty check?
you guys are girl in the
Oh,
shop.
my bad. We'll have that fixed. Must have been an address issue in the admin system. Corgan, let's go. Corgan.
Okay, but real quick, here's the bands that A Razor was in the 80s.
Let's hear it.
So Rude Awakening
Oh.
is one. Circle One. Psycom, spelled Psy space COM.
Cool.
General Kane. And then he played for a stint with Chaos UK
Chaos UK.
and a band called Dayglow Abortions.
Don't know that one. Wow, Chaos UK, yeah. Very cool. Checking it out right now. I'm going to listen to it.
In the meantime,
Wait.
let's have you read your Corgan piece.
Okay. Be emphatic. Seduce in non sequiturs and lace censors. Romance as I sit owl-like on your fraying vintage sofa, bleeding words together and pacing. Smear odes on shopping lists. Spew sonnets at karaoke bars. Make it so I can't tell if you're kidding or sincere. Curse on my stubbed toes. Lecture me all the time. I am your student. Tell me how innocence is tragic, but naivety, gullibility never ending, is death. Kneel on raw rice grains. Propose that we do nothing. Thank you.
That was good.
Thanks.
I like the tone, like you read that in a very I can't think of the right. Chad, help me out here.
I think it's a voice where she's channeling someone in particular, or that would be my guess. I don't know if I'm correct or not.
It almost seems sarcastic. I'm not sure if I'm.
Was that sarcastic? That's a good question. I think I'm mic'd. Am I mic'd? But
Should I tell you? I mean,
yeah, sure.
If you feel comfortable doing it.
Well, you didn't sing for us. You got to give us something. Come on. Now.
Yeah, come on. What's that about? What's that poem about?
oh, I don't know what my poems are about.
That's sarcastic.
It was
right?
about your problems. No, it was about your problems. And yeah, that was that same tone. You're right, Jason. That was that same tone.
I'm catching sarcasm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's sarcasm. Maybe that's the way I'm interpreting it, but could be way off.
I'm sarcastic.
Is it like anger then? Is it like a reserved bitterness, like almost a passive aggressive thing?
Oh, I'm definitely not passive aggressive.
I did
I
not
don't
get
like
that.
you, like you definitely know.
Interesting. No, I liked it. Well, I mean, if nothing else, it made me ask a lot of questions, which is
That's
the mark of a
good.
good piece. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I like that. That was on top of ones. Hey, it's hard to top on top of ones, but I think you just you saw what I mean.
I enjoy the delivery, definitely.
Thank
the
you.
marketing, too.
People on YouTube think I'm obnoxious.
People on YouTube do?
I mean, there was one guy who said I really don't enjoy her work. She's just what she's the voice of fifth wave feminism, and
That guy probably has a tiny penis too, but continue.
oh my god.
Ah.
Her voice is just so annoying.
No,
Fifth wave feminism? Is that the new term?
It was what did he call it? Begrudging fifth wave feminism or something.
What's
It was a really
fifth
funny
wave?
comment. I think it was my ex-boyfriend, so that makes it even funnier.
Either that or a stray gamer gator that just stumbled onto your page for whatever reason. My word.
Yeah. Well, question
Andy
though.
Kaufman.
So you pull no punches. You write your poetry. What is your favorite style of poetry to write? What time do you like to write? What influences your writing? Do you write about current events? Go ahead. What do you got?
I think I write a lot, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always writing, even if I'm not actually writing something down. Just thinking about things. I'll get a line stuck in my head, and it'll just loop, and then morph, and I'll build on it, and or get an idea. I'll see something weird, and I'll just think about it for a while, and think about it in different situations, and but I think I write mostly type out stuff at nighttime. I'm better at doing that at night than I am in the morning. In the morning, it's the last thing that I want to do. I just want to if it's the weekend, I just want to chill in bed with my cat for a while and smoke weed and watch Gilmore Girls or whatever show I'm watching at the moment.
God, Gilmore Girls again.
Dude, it's okay.
Gilmore Girls prop.
I'm going to be thinking about Gilmore Girls for the next month, so it's just something that I'm going through. I watched the
Do you think
entire
they talk
series
too
of
fast?
what?
You think they talk too fast on Gilmore Girls? You can tell me.
No, I don't think they talk too fast.
You don't think
I
they
mean,
talk too fast on Gilmore Girls? Come on.
You can tell Jason, Alexandra, because
No,
up till now you haven't been revealing it all.
Because
Jesus,
I talk
Jason.
fast too, but like the way that they put together their witticisms, like I don't think anybody thinks that fast.
That's why it's so clever, the Gilmore Girls.
What?
I mean, I don't. Their writers are good, but it's like they drank a lot of coffee before they decided to sit down and write an episode because everybody talks so fast.
Yeah, I mean the writers definitely were caffeine addicts because that's like a storyline that runs throughout the show. Like they're always drinking coffee.
Yeah.
It's like the joke, like one of the inside jokes. Like everyone's always drinking coffee. But it was also the late '90s, so I don't know.
You think they drank a lot more coffee in the late 90s?
Yeah, I think it was just like trendier too.
It was plus it was cheaper then before Starbucks took everything over. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's the new book about, Alexandra?
Yeah. What's going on?
Oh, that's just my boombox.
Oh,
I'm glad you have a boombox.
you have a boombox?
No, I don't actually know where that noise is coming from. It's not coming from me.
Ain't me.
Back to you, Chad.
It sounded like a cell phone ringtone.
Is that Chad's ringtone?
How do you not know that? That was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Are you guys serious?
You surprised me.
We're doing a pseudo pro wrestling cast, and you don't recognize.
It sounded like you were ordering pizza at Burger King. It sounded horrible. What is that?
Hey, but I'm sorry. Are you
Chicken fries?
a serious question? Are you able to order pizza at Burger King?
Probably.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, you can. Because he's a badass. Gets away
You get pizza at Burger King. They have chicken fries. You can do anything at Burger King.
All right.
Oh, my.
You can order mozzarella sticks and pretend it's a pizza.
There you go. That's called.
Crazy talk. You're out of your head, man.
Let's
I
make
think
it.
everyone's out of their head, but I want to find out what Alexandra's new book is about.
Let's make
Yeah,
it
what's in
complicated.
the book?
I have 3 books that came out this year.
You put out a lot of work.
They're chapbooks though.
Oh, I see.
They're like 40 pages each or like 50 pages each.
Wait, what did you call it? A chapbook?
Yeah.
That's
What's
a
that?
technical term. That's usually a technical term for like a book without a spine.
So you have 3 books out this year?
Yeah.
And just for the record,
Two of them have spines though.
Oh, 2 of them have spines?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, Alexandra. If you have 40, 50 pages,
I love
Most
it.
people-
That was a completely inappropriate time for that sound effect, but it was actually
most
very well done.
Alexandra,
Very well
most people would call
I know.
You and I both we're on the same page, brother.
all I was trying to say is that most people would call those real books, like full-length collections, if it's 40, 50 poems.
Oh, for real?
But that's what I would say. Most chapbooks are like, usually 10 to 15 poems at most.
Oh yeah, I mean these have like they're books, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just like being faux modest.
So Alexander, if we want to see you, where can we find you online real quick if we want to check out your poems? Besides going to the store and buying them. You got it up there?
Yeah, there's links on my blog, which is
Blog.
it's on Tumblr, so it's my like my internet name, which is the Sarina, but it's spelled not phonetically.
I saw that. I saw that. We'll post it on the pertinent link section.
Okay.
I think
when we send out all the information.
I think to offer compensation for being on this crazy podcast, each of us has to buy a book from your website.
Oh my god. I mean, you can buy them directly from me too.
You live in California.
So I mean, like,
I think she has a PayPal account. Yeah.
Now, question: Are you coming to Boston?
I'm going to be in Massachusetts, later this summer to film a movie.
Whereabouts?
I don't know where exactly in Massachusetts, but
Somewhere in Mass. All right. Can you
my friend,
say anything about the movie, or is it top secret?
it's called Man Kills, Jesus Saves.
Really? That's
So
interesting.
And
Okay.
Jamie
What's your-
Corrales, who runs That Lit site and does That Lit pod, or no, that's what I do. He has a podcast called Shooting It with Jamie K. That's he's producing it, so he like asked me if I wanted to audition, and I was like, yeah. But it's
So
about
what's your role? Yeah. What are you doing?
so I'm an investigator
Okay.
who's like
Can
coming.
you act out for us? Can you act out what the Can you say a line from the movie?
No. You don't have to say a line.
No, I'm not going to say a line from the movie. That doesn't make any sense.
So you're an investigator in what context? Like what's
Okay.
going on in the film?
I'm at a Bible camp to investigate missing people, like people that have
A
gone
Bible camp.
at a Bible camp.
Really? And people are missing from the Bible. Why would people be missing from the Bible camp?
That's
That's what you're there to find
That's
out.
why she's the investigator.
Thank
Jesus.
you.
I like.
Put it on a
I don't
T
want
for
to
you guys.
spoil it
Awesome.
for you.
No. But that's good. That's good. That builds a little suspense. You know what I mean? I like that. That was a great answer.
Oh my god, my fucking editor, A Razor, just texted me a fucking book about the bands he was in LA. Do you want me to read this to you?
Hey, you may as well. We spoke about it. We asked you to do it. Go for it.
I mean, I'll just read it real quick.
Yeah.
So-
you give us the abridged version.
I quit Psycom when it reformed, even though the new band took its new name from my girlfriend at the time. I kept having differences with the lead singer. I thought the band would never do shit, especially without me. The lead singer was an insane dope fiend, almost as bad as me, and he constantly said shit that was intolerable. Needless to say, leaving Jane's Addiction was probably the closest I come to regretting a decision in the music biz. Although I never could have gone along with that ride. Even Eric Avery couldn't hang. Martin Lenoble took on the position for a while. I think I might have OD'd after they signed with Warner Brothers if I would have stayed. Like my friend Hillel did after the Red Hot Chili Peppers finished their first Euro tour. Oh my god, he's texting me. Being in an LA band was as dangerous as gangstering back then. I'm gonna stop.
I was gonna say, yeah. There's no real way to give an abridged version. You just gotta get it.
She's texting right now, being like, "Hey, knock it off."
He knew the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Jane's Addiction is basically what you just said.
He could have been in Jane's Addiction, is what.
That is so cool.
But he chose not to because the ride would have probably taken him to darker places than he wanted to go. Is really what
That's true.
like the positive part of what she just read was.
We should do
He
this.
made the choice not to.
Razor's got some crazy stories.
Yeah, man, that's some awesome stuff. I want to read that book.
After hearing that, nothing shocking. No.
I'd like to talk. I'd like to have him on the podcast. You guys think that'd be cool? Like a.
You should ask him to be on the podcast. He has
totally.
some really good stories.
I would love to talk to him.
You
Yeah,
should.
game if we can make that happen.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Well, shout out to you, Razor. We will be in touch rather soon.
He's like my
Yes.
poetry dad.
I like
Wait,
that.
what did you say?
He's like my poetry dad.
That's funny. That's
Everyone has a
funny.
poetry dad. My dad's my poetry dad, but I taught my dad how to write poetry, so
See,
technically
now I want a rap mom, like poetry dad, rap mom. No? Anybody? Chris, who's your rap mom?
Who? I was going to ask you that. 'Cause I don't quite understand the concept. Who is your rap mom?
I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say Queen Latifah at the end of the day.
Rap mom is Queen Latifah?
Yeah, that's as best as I can come up with on the spot. Yeah, Queen Latifah. But you know what? I think that's right. Yeah, you go with your gut.
My rap daddy's Flavor Flav, which is
I'm glad you added the daddy to that. My rap daddy.
My rap dad is the RZA.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. What up, RZA? I thought Chad was gonna say Nas. Because he has in the past. Yeah, you see what I did there? Anybody?
That's I haven't read Betty. Is Nas.
No. Maybe. I'd have to
My
think
rap
about
mom is probably Lil Kim, but Nicki Minaj is my stepmom.
that. Really? That's an interesting little triangle you got going on there.
I like that.
Alexandria, Nikki, and Kim. And they hate each
Oh.
other, Nikki and Kim. They're not fans of each other.
Yeah, they hate each other.
Who's the heel in that feud? Is it Nikki or Kim?
Oh, that's a good question.
Kim came out looking real bad from that.
So she's the face then. She's the sympathy figure, and Nikki's the.
No, Nikki, like,
You think Nikki's the
Nikki
face?
stayed classy, kinda. Like, Nikki threw a lot of barbs in her lines, but she came out making more
She
money.
made a whole song called "You a Stupid Hoe," and that was the hook over and over again. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid
Yeah.
hoe. You was really classy.
No, I mean, like, she wasn't just going on interviews and talking hellish shit, but Kim
You're
was.
right. You're right. She kept it on. I see what you're saying. Okay. I can dig that. I can dig that. Speaking of heels, Chad,
Yes.
who's your favorite heel?
Oh, good question. That probably had to be Randy Savage when he was working as a heel. He kind of touted
Heel
the line. It turns out if we're going strict wrestling heel, then yeah, definitely Savage.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be wrestling. It's kind of open-ended, but yeah,
But
I like Savage.
Fine heel.
Unfortunately, I have too many real life heels that I can't really mention online.
Chad's like, well, this dude from work.
Have we properly defined what a heel is?
No, you know what? A heel is a wrestling term for the bad guy. Wrestling is all about the good guys versus the bad guys. Everybody knows that. The good guys are the faces or the baby faces. The bad guys are the heels. And the jobbers are the guys that go out there and get their asses kicked.
By both heels and faces.
Yeah, by both heels and faces to build the heel and the face. So, Jason, who's your most intriguing, your favorite heel? Again, open-ended. Doesn't have to be wrestling.
Tom Brady.
It can be juice. It can be, TV. It can be a brand of like cupcakes that you don't like. You know what I mean?
All right,
Who's your favorite heel?
Can I change my answer to Tom Brady?
Oh!
Yes, you
No.
can. Okay. No, I'm sorry. No, you can't.
Who's my heel? I don't know. Who's my heel? I don't know. Yeah, who's my heel?
Yeah, who's your Achilles? No, who's your favorite heel?
My favorite heel would be, I would say Charles Bukowski. He's kind of a heel. Kind of a bad guy.
heel.
I like that.
Who is
He's
that?
He's a great poet, but a lot of people don't understand him. Kind of like,
I see,
Dr. Parenteau, Dr. Evil from South Park. That kind of idea. He's a nice guy, right? But people don't understand him.
He sounds like that guy who started ranting and raving at the Stone Super about a month and a half ago.
Oh,
Hey, I hope
let's
he's
not go
doing
there.
okay, by the way. Yeah.
I'm gonna be getting in touch with him later. I gave some time to figure out if that guy's doing okay. Hopefully, I'll have an update for people by this Monday.
Right. Yeah, no, and let's leave it at that. But he sounds like that guy. Chris, Professor.
Heels.
Heal me, Professor.
I still am in the mind frame of like Eminem or even like Marilyn Manson, somebody who paints himself into that like image in order, because it makes sense because you can, because of what you gain from it. So I don't know.
I like that.
Those
Eminem,
two-
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
I'm going to change my answer to Walt.
Who's Walt? Walt Whitman?
Walter White.
Walter White. Yep, that's my
That's a
heel.
good one.
He's a villain, though. He's not a heel.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait a minute, I thought you said a heel was a villain.
Well, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah,
I think he
explain
falls
that.
under-
Explain that, Alexandra. What do you mean?
The heel-
Or Chad?
Explain.
Go ahead.
Walter White is a heel in that he can't help himself. That's just his true nature. Like, he just keeps doing these despicable things. But, like, he's actually malicious.
He was like my favorite character on that show. My favorite character.
Yeah, you're right. Though that's what he learns about himself in the end is that he is actually he likes it. That's what he says to his wife. Like, I did it because this is what I want to do. Because
He made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, but that's not the distinction that we're talking. You know, he's saying that he likes it. He is malicious, and he's actually a villain. I think that's a pretty good
But
distinction.
dude, I don't want to do any spoiler alerts, but he's kind of a hero throughout the whole show. He saves and
Well, he's the protagonist throughout the
Not
whole
a hero. He fucking poisoned that kid.
Yes, he's not a hero.
That was
Jesse Pinkman is the hero, even though he's a total fuck up.
Ooh.
He's the only character on that show who has like any sort of emotion.
Well, and his wife.
The wife does, but like
Pinkman's emotion.
she's not like a compassionate character, whereas Jesse Pinkman is the most compassionate character.
You're the second person to say that about
with a
Walter
name
White's
like
wife.
Pinkman, he would have to be. Good grief.
Well,
You're
no,
the
the
second person.
Pinkman and White thing is all about white supremacy.
What?
Interesting.
Walter White supremacy.
I don't know the show. But I'm sure Alan Davis will.
It's an allegory.
What, Breaking Bad is?
Go on.
Breaking Bad is an allegory for white supremacy. And in that story, because think about it, like...
Who's the heel in that story?
What the hell are you talking about?
Whoa.
Okay,
Everybody shut up for a second. Everybody shut up.
Two fucking white guys against, like, the Mexican drug cartel. And they beat the cartel. Like, that's not real.
Huh.
But it's an allegory for, you know, just white supremacy in America.
Oh, all right.
I didn't see it like that. I saw it as quality entertainment and a really well written show, but
Well, Jason, I could see it at the very least. I mean, I don't know if I see the white supremacy, but I haven't seen all the seasons yet. No, I'm not mad that anyone did spoilers. I'm not dumb. I know how it ends, kind of.
What haven't we spoiled on this show? Like, really? Come on.
Well, it's my point being is that you could make an argument that's about white privilege for sure. I'll have to actually look more and see about the white supremacy
watch a
part.
show to be entertaining without having to think it's an allegory or anything like that. Can it just be a well-written show?
That's how I feel about pro wrestling.
I want to clarify that I am not pro white supremacy. Like, it's...
I didn't think. I don't think anyone thought you were.
No, that's important. That's
Like,
important.
the
Go
show,
ahead.
I feel like the show is like a criticism of
Right.
that part of our culture.
But what I'd like to know is what is going on in Lost.
Oh, no. That's not
That's an allegory for some shit. That's an acid trip or something.
Alexandra.
Wow.
Who's your favorite heel?
My favorite heel.
Entertain me, please.
By the way, I love Lost. I just want to say.
I love Lost. too.
I think we should devote our entire next podcast to Lost. But right now, I want to know.
I am so gonna be the odd man out of this.
I also like in the movie This Is 40 how the daughter's super into Lost. That's a pretty funny plot twist. Plot line, like subplot. Her
Miss
family.
Naughton.
All about Lost.
So, my favorite
Please.
heel is probably Courtney Love.
Nice.
Good one.
But my
Good
second one is fucking Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
You just came up with that.
He's such an asshole.
Like asshole Chevy Chase. Yeah, because he plays
Old
like a
Chevy
good guy.
Chase.
He's like the opposite of pro wrestling. He plays a good guy on TV all the time. He plays these lovable, like, you know what I mean, funny characters. But in real life, he's a dick.
Yeah, he's just mean.
He's the honky tonk man. If
He
anyone
is the
remembers his
honky
history.
tonk man.
The honky
Yeah.
tonk man began as like a good guy, and then he was mad that no one liked him. So they did a poll allegedly on WWE to figure out who liked him. When he found out that like twice as many people hated him as they did like him, that's when he became a villain.
That's when he started smashing
He was such a whiner.
stars up his backs.
That's wonderful.
Hey, who was his? Didn't he have a coach? He had a coach, right?
The honky tonk man? Yeah, a manager?
Manager, yeah.
Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart. Yeah.
He made a bunch of people bad guys, man. He did that
But
to
Chevy Chase is a heel. I like
But
that. I
that's
like
what
that
the
a lot.
wrestling career- Yeah, I do like Chevy Chase as a heel. I think
He's-
that's
he's-
fantastic.
Definition of heel, like
He's Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan's the heel. Yeah.
But I'm saying Chevy Chase is like the comedic version of Bob Heenan.
You just said he was the honky tonk man.
Yeah.
I'm going on I'm writing a brainwave here. Let me go.
All right.
National
Gotcha.
Christmas Vacation, which still happens to be one of the best movies ever written, so he can't be a heel. Randy.
Yeah, he can.
No, I think he can be a heel. I agree with Alexandra on this one.
All right.
There's such a thing as a heel turn.
Rob Van
Jason.
Dam,
You
heel.
can be a good. You can be a good guy and turn heel. So I mean, Chevy
Yeah,
Chase
for a
is
heel
probably
turn.
the best. He's
And
the
a
best.
face turn, conversely, and a face turn.
He's
Yes.
really good at what he does, but he's such.
That was the Chevy Chase show. What was he thinking about that one, huh?
Ugh.
Like Billy Corgan.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
All right, so just to complete the thought here, if anyone would care to ask me who my favorite heel is,
Who's your
Please.
favorite heel, Ivan?
Heel, Ivan.
there we go. There was about a half second of dead silence before Chris chimed in sarcastically.
I'm really interested.
You know
I
what?
don't know.
You know what? For the cricket sound, and I was thinking of saying this as a joke, then I was going to go with CM Punk, but you know what? Fuck you. Jason, you're my favorite heel for the cricket sound. Jason Wright from Oddball.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, I was gonna stick with pro wrestling. CM Punk as a heel is my favorite heel. I think CM Punk is great, and I love Paul Heyman as anything.
Jason's his own heel. Jason is his own favorite heel.
I'm done. I give up. I give up. So let's go back to that text homeboy sent you. No.
That was interesting. Let's talk about that.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Do we have a derailed train sound bites you can use, Jason?
I should just get a bunch of sound effects. And
Yeah,
that was it.
like you haven't already.
I
Yes.
was gonna say, as opposed to what you've been doing.
Well, I know, but if I can find a derailed train and something that says you derailed me.
Oh, I almost forgot my 2 weeks of Brian Jonestown Massacre. Ha! Can't forget my epic fight with Anton.
He was in Brian Jamestown Massacre? Is that what you just said?
For 2 weeks, apparently.
Wow.
All right.
The life of a musician. Holy
Here's-
crap.
Here's what I'm gonna propose.
I'm gonna
In
give you
the
a Go ahead.
in the interest of the show here, let's give everybody a forum right now to bring up and or speak on whatever they wanted to speak on, and if after all that we're good, we'll cut it and we'll just keep going as long as we want to.
I like it.
Off air. Is that cool?
So we're all just going to talk
'Cause-
right now?
I mean, is there anything else anybody wanted to bring up? I know before precast we were talking about a little bit about race and pro wrestling.
That's okay.
I know a little bit of hip hop came up during the cast. Alexandra sounds like she has stories for days, so I want to give her an open forum to say whatever the fuck she wants to say. And given that Chad is the elder statements, I'm assuming he's tired. Just kidding. But I don't get a drum roll for that, really.
Oh, I can't always be on the drum.
There it is. So yeah, so let's open it up. Let's start. Let's go in. You know what? Ladies first. Alexandra, poet celebrity. What up? You
I
can
really
pass,
hate
and we can
going
come back to
first.
you.
Here, I'll go first.
Let's go.
Someone else should go first.
Professor.
I got
there
you, buddy.
go. There you go. Let's do it.
So come check us out. There's a lot going on this week at both Oddball Magazine and jplineproductions.com, the home of JPL Magazine. This past week, we rolled out a track from a friend of ours in Memphis, a Memphis
Yes.
Grizzlies hype track. Actually, Ivan, talk on that for just a second, and then I'll come back to me.
Well, we met, through social media. Jay Smooth out of Memphis, Tennessee. He's a very positive hip hop artist, and that's what, that's what drew me to him. He reached out on the strength of a review that we had written on Chuck D. He's a Chuck D fan, Public Enemy. We're Chuck D fans, Public Enemy. So we wrote a review on Chuck D's latest album, 2014's Black and Man. He read it, said, "Hey guys, like the article, good job." We networked from there. And we've written a couple of articles on him now. The latest one is about Swamp Ball It was a playoff track for the Memphis Grizzlies. Unfortunately, they were eliminated by the Warriors, who are now in the finals. Shout outs to Kareem DeRoche, AroundTheBean.com. We will be doing an NBA Finals podcast soon. Details forthcoming. But yeah, he reached. Yeah, we wrote about that this week, and it's a good track. Jay Smooth, big up Memphis. Very positive artist. We like that at jplineproductions.com. We got no hate for any of the genres of hip hop, whether it's gangsta, ratchet, club, sexual, gospel, whatever. But we like our positive hip hop, and myself, I like my 80s hip hop. # rap flashback. jplineproductions.com. That's what it is.
Well said. So yeah, there's a lot going on at JPL Magazine this week. I put up a little article about this 3 cool videos I was into this week because A$AP Rocky dropped his album, Snoop dropped his a couple weeks ago, and then
Killer Mike LP.
Yeah, Killer Mike, Run the Jewels. Their album actually came out last fall, but the video just came out and it's really cool. This design team called Bug and Stuzzy. I always screw up their name, but they're out of St. Louis, and it's their track about police brutality. So that drew my attention. It's a really cool looking video. So check that out. It's that track Early from the last Run the Jewels album. But that's what I was into this week was the music videos.
And you know what, Prof? Not to cut you off, but when I looked at your post, and I saw the Run the Jewels track, I had just listened to that track for the first time, literally hours before. Because, I was a little late on Killer Mike. I've been listening to a lot of him lately, a lot of Run the Jewels, and I was like, this is phenomenal. And then you wrote about it literally hours before I had just listened to it. I was ecstatic to see that on the site. So good work.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel there's a lot of people that are kind of late on Killer Mike. I'm including myself. I feel like there's a lot of people that are feeling like, oh, who is Killer Mike? I've heard of him before, but somehow he's now making a real statement in hip hop, which is pretty cool to see.
Fantastic artist, positive artist, a la Chuck D. You know what I mean? Positive hip hop is not dead. Hip hop is not dead. I'm not gonna go on my rant right now, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
You talk about a little Oddball real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Oddball wrap up for the week. So today we started off with a couple poems on Monday by 2 poems by Joseph Robert with artwork by Richard Montgomery. Then we had a poem by Denise Clemens with photography by James Conant. We also had a poem by Jonathan Genero, photography by Allison Golden. We also had another poem by Donald Mahoney and artwork by Ira Joel Haber. But I wanted to talk about 2 things. I want to talk about Andrew Bourne's 7x47 Lessons on Riding a Bike, which you can see at magazine.com. It's a really nice poem about teaching his children how to ride a bike, but it's a lot more deep than that. Also, I'd like to shout out to our newest person from Oddball Magazine, Liza Zayas. She is running the Underground Garden, and it's awesome. What she talked about this week was Uhura Africa, which is some Afro beats that I was listening to. You can find them on SoundCloud. It's dope. There's going to be a show coming up next week, and we'll have more details on that. I know it's like a Prince show, and Liza's actually going to be performing with also DJ Nomadic from Boston.
Do you know the venue?
Yeah.
I know the venue. I think it's the Milky Way, but I'm not sure. Hold on, let me see.
That's like Nomadic's home base. It probably is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
Nomadic's always at the Milky Way. We'll confirm and put it up on the Permanent Lick section. But yeah, do you have a date?
Africa in Jamaica Plain on this Friday, May 29th, and then also you got the show on June 8th. Coming up too, and the Paradise Clubs. There's a lot of stuff going on. You got to check out the site. Is our newest addition to Oddball Magazine. She knows the Underground Garden. She is dope. I want to thank her for her being part of our Oddball Magazine, and also the shout outs to James Van Looy and all the people who are a part of Oddball Magazine every week. And I also wrote my poem, Jag Thoughts 76, The Paper Planet. It was possibly going to be the cover of my new book, but I'm not sure, so I wrote something about it. That's kind of what's going on with us. We also had a poem by Patricia Walsh, and big ups to TJ Edson for photography for that. So that was our week at Oddball Magazine.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Informative, succinct, funny. I like that. That was good. There it is. There it is. Never one to not pat himself on the back, Mr. Jason. My favorite heel, ladies and gentlemen. Chad or Alexandra? Who wants it? Who wants it? Who wants the floor? Chad? Is Chad with us?
I guess I'm good.
Oh, yeah, Chad woke up. There he is. All right, good.
Chad's on sleep
Well,
right now.
Chad had some soda.
I will send information to you, Ivan, about the Working Stiff anthology. I urge everyone to submit, and I hope Alexandra submits. You have until between now and Sunday to send something. I'm going to be sending my poem Hulk Hogan Jesus to the anthology people in hopes that they will accept it.
You know what, Chad?
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge myself right now on the air so that the next time we're on the air, you guys can call me on it. I'm going to submit.
I hope you do,
I'm going to submit a
man.
poem. I'm going to write some shit about wrestling, and I'm going to submit it.
Right on, man.
When's
Yeah,
it
I'm
due?
going to fucking do it. By Sunday, I'm
The
on it.
31st, yeah.
I'm hoping to submit one more poem by Sunday. Hulk Hogan Jesus, I don't want it to be the only one, although it is pretty tight so far. I do a lot of Jesus poems. I do Jesus persona poems. And Hulk Hogan Jesus came out pretty funny. Like, example of a line, Hulk Hogan Jesus wears his crown of gold and thorns around his waist to preserve his bandana. Hulk Hogan Jesus performs his scripture directly into the mic. Hulk Hogan Jesus enters Jerusalem to I am a real American, confusing all who look on, who cheer loudly anyway. And more.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, Chad, don't hold me to this, but I might write Ultimate Warrior Judas.
I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope Alexandra the Giant writes something. And Alexandra, I do hope you submit to Oddball. By the way, you're more than welcome to.
Awesome. Yeah.
We're not gonna say like, oh, she can't submit because she was on the show. Bullshit. Submit on the show. Submit. You were on the show. You deserve to.
Anyone listening can submit to us too. I mean, we take submissions at oddballmagazine@gmail.com, or you can check out our submissions page at oddballmagazine.com too.
And one thing that Jason forgot to mention is that we've had almost 1,000 views in the last 2 to 3 days because we did an announcement for submissions, and we got some submissions from some very wonderful people. So if anyone's listening for the first time because they were introduced to our magazine for the first time, thank you very much for that. And to move on, I do want to say one thing on behalf of Stone Soup, which I host in Cambridge. And Alexandra, you're welcome to come to that if you're in the Boston area when you're doing your movie shoot. We have probably the best extension of World Wrestling, or I should say professional wrestling. We have the best extension of that poetry-wise coming this Monday at Stone Soup Poetry, and that's the Poetry Slam. We're hosting our first Poetry Slam in probably 2 decades. It's coming. It's taking place on June 1st. It's from 7 to 9. It's an early start date, but that's because of our deal with the gallery. Deal with that. And definitely come. It's a $50 cash prize.
Oh, wow.
You can't find a better incentive than that, and except for the fact that the host is the wonderful Didi Delgado. I'm looking forward.
Shout out to Didi.
I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully, Didi, you'll meet with Alexandra online via the show at another time, or maybe face-to-face. So we're looking forward to that. If you can be in the audience for the show, I think 70 or 80 people have expressed interest in the show, and I passed around flyers yesterday at the Cantab, so we got some more takers, so we're very excited about that.
Wish I could slam. I can't do that shit. It's tough.
Thank you, Chad. That was my quick question.
Great segue.
Explain what a slam is, because I'm kind of familiar with it. Again, I'm more from the hip hop background. Love me some poetry. Have performed poetry. Thank you for that opportunity, Chad. But yeah, what is slam poetry specifically? Like, what can we expect
It's
when all of our asses show up at Stone Soup at the Out of the Blue Art Gallery on Mass Ave on Monday?
It's essentially you're going to see performance poetry as a competitive, sometimes even contact sport. Okay, maybe not so much contact, but it is poets giving their best performance and leaving themselves to be judged by audience members, specifically judges who are selected. There's generally 3 of them, or actually 3 to 5. I think 4 or 5 of them, and the lowest score and then the highest score gets dropped, and then we will be competing for 2 hours worth to see who gets the prize, and there's actually second and third prizes, which I don't think even happens at the Cantab. So we're being very ambitious with this, and we hope people come out. Already people have said, oh, wow, $50, that's more money than what the Cantab charges. I'm not saying that as a bragging right, I'm just quoting somebody. So I don't know if we'll be able
charges
to...
or
sorry, that's more than
rewards.
What the Cantab rewards. Sorry about
Gotcha.
that. I said that a little too quick.
Is there a cover?
Just a $5 cover, and I'm sure some of that's going to go to the prize. But we do have the money set aside to pay everyone if need be. But I hope we're able to fill the house. We've been breaking records ever since we've gotten the new location at the gallery. We've filled that place up with people, almost over 100 people for Didi Delgado's fundraiser. And back when she wasn't feeling well, and we were able to raise the rest of the money that she needed as part of her GoFundMe account so she could recover from her surgery. And she recovered within a week. She was already doing like poetry readings and helping out with the Poet Laureate of Boston. So Didi's a soldier, and I can't think of anyone better to lead this event and to be a pioneer in bringing slam back to Stone Soup, which it was back in the 80s. And that's all I got to say about that. But thanks to everyone who's been listening to the show, especially if there's been some new people being picked up from this. And, of course, thanks to Alexandra, who should get the forum because there's no one left to talk.
Get your asses out there to Stone Soup. Chad, I haven't said anything. I haven't said my closing. But get your asses out there to Stone Soup on Monday night. Didi Delgado hosting slam poetry. Alexandria, what you got? Alexandra, did I?
Alexandra,
my apologies.
Alexandra,
I'm terrible with names.
Okay, don't worry.
I'm worried. I apologize.
Heel. Can't even call me.
Hey, so thanks for having me on your show, everyone. This has been fun, and yeah, I liked it. I didn't really have anything prepared to talk
you did
about.
An excellent job.
Well, neither did we.
Alexandra.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta tell you, you are in the Bay Area. We gotta talk maybe offline or whatever. But what is the ocean preservation movement happening after this oil spill in Santa Monica? Is there anything going on?
Nice.
To be continued offline.
Let's continue this, but there's got to be something going on there, right?
Is there any poetry about it?
I
only knew it had happened because of Facebook. And, it's just really upsetting to me, and...
That Jason would ask that question, or...?
No! Just that this fucking disaster happened, and,
Gotcha.
I can't believe that they still do this shit, and, it just happens all the time. This world is ending, and I hate it. I mean, I don't really hate that it's ending. I think that it should end.
Well, not yet. Come on. We're all still alive.
We still have to finish this podcast.
Come on, Alexandra.
I mean, if it happens in the next 50 years, I'm totally chill with that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we can sustain this, and
Wow.
the way that we live is really destructive, and it makes me sad almost every day just to think about throwing trash away and where that goes, and even if you do recycle, it's we've already fucked it up too much.
No, that's not. I mean, we have messed up the ocean a little bit too much, but we can still heal from that, man. Surf Rider Foundation is doing all sorts of stuff. There's other organizations doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, we're trying to protect the waves and the ocean, and because that is the main life force of the planet. And if you fuck up the ocean, and the ocean goes, you go with it. So that's why I brought it up, because you're in California. You know, I thought maybe you part of the, you know, checking the, you know, you were, you know, you knew what was going on and with the, you know, they have it in Santa Monica and shit. So yeah, it's definitely a huge important thing that I think we should devote a whole nother podcast about sometime. Sorry I brought it up at 12:30 in the morning, which is what time your time?
It's like 9:21 here.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
she's
right.
great.
She doesn't have time to go. She doesn't have time to go to a
Straight.
bar. She has enough kind of time to go to a bar and be like, "Let me tell you about these rambling assholes I was online with."
She has enough time to go to the beach and protect the waves.
Protect
There you go.
the waves.
Yeah.
Protect the wave. That's what I'm saying. You better hashtag that shit. You gotta.
Hashtag protect the wave.
I mean,
Alexandra, thank you very much. I'm still mad you didn't sing though.
I wish you could, too.
I was hoping you'd sing as you're closing, just kind of as a, you know, all right. Well, if you've got nothing else to talk about, but
I also thought you were gonna like tap dance and perform a monologue too.
no, just to sing it.
I could do a monologue. Do you guys like Hamlet?
Yes, do it.
No, I'm not really gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote against Hamlet.
I'm so gullible.
I love Hamlet, but I'm not gonna do a monologue right now.
Maybe Stewie from Family Guy, but no, not Hamlet, not right now. Oh man, I mean,
Jason,
I got nothing.
Jason,
I got
did you
nothing
know
but
that the
thanks
word
all
gullible is
around.
not in the dictionary? Good God.
Do you know asshole is under name Chad Parenteau?
What?
That didn't even make sense. Protect the waves.
If you play this podcast backwards later on, you can hear the crashing of metal as the train derails. Good God.
And on that note,
That was the best way to end the podcast ever.
oh God, on that note, Alexandra, thank you for joining us tonight. It was great having you on. Definitely learned a lot. Definitely was. I think we as a group were very impressed with the two pieces of poetry that you shared. That was very riveting and very, like I said, two different fields. I thought it was dope. We touched a little bit on pro wrestling tonight and anthologies about pro wrestling, poetry in pro wrestling. That was, something that I was curious about myself when Chad brought it up as a potential topic because, the two worlds are completely different to me as, a fan of one and definitely, like I respect poetry. I've done poetry. It's something that's dope. It's something that I think is great. So given that the two were in positive lights for me, but completely different worlds, I was curious to see how that all tied into each other. And I think we did a very interesting, oddballish job of, tying that out tonight. A little bit about heels. We spoke a little bit about Andy Kaufman. We spoke a little bit about Billy Corgan. We spoke a lot about Billy Corgan. And
This is a great show.
read some of his text. That was interesting. On the
I would
playback.
watch the show if I was listening to it. I would totally watch this show.
I would too. Oddball show. We're doing it. No, that's all I got. I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank Alexandra for coming out. I am going to go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not
Sorry,
more
what?
of an environmentalist. Sorry.
Oh yeah, hey, not everyone is. That's why the world's going to shit.
No, that's what we do on the Oddball show. We go all over the place. Do not be afraid.
She's an environmental nihilist. I can get that. I can get behind that.
I used to be an environmentalist. I really did. Like, I was part of the Sierra Club, but I'm not anymore.
Now you're a poet celebrity.
Now I'm just a poet celebrity. Watching the world burn.
I loved it though. You were really entertaining to listen to today. Thank you so much for being on our show. We're a little crazy. At least I'm crazy.
It's really fun.
No, we're a lot crazy.
I didn't really like you that much.
And one. What was it? 47? Did it 47 times.
Oh goodness! On top of one.
On top of
Chris,
one.
that was great, Prof. You're our resident heel for the night.
That was amazing. That's such a. Hold on. When you perform that in clubs, what's the response to that?
Wait, what?
When you
What's the
perform
response
that,
to on top of
the
one
response to
47 times?
Yeah, what is that? What's that like? What's the response to the poem?
That you get.
Yeah. What kind of
Bottles
response
being
did you
thrown.
get? On the poem?
I don't understand what the question is.
I think I think what he's trying to say is, what is the audience reaction when you do that poem?
Oh.
Oh,
Is that someone's phone?
I hope that's not me. I don't think that's me. Was that? That was JP. That had to be that had to be Ivan.
Someone have
That
like
was
a
the
pop-up window open or something?
that was the Ultimate Warrior theme song right
Oh.
there.
Jason, I thought. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I muted you. I muted myself too. I thought it was me.
So yeah, so to close us out, what is the response that you get to that on top of 147 times poem?
Oh, people laugh.
Really?
People don't know how to react at first, but like they start laughing after a while. It's funny. I don't know.
it's a good poem. I couldn't do that.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. I liked it a lot.
All right.
Thanks for being on our show. Kick it, Ultimate Warrior.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It was nice seeing you. Thank you for being on our show. It was fun.
No, I had a lot of fun.